Tonight, more loud voices emerge, piling pressure on John Mahama to pick their preferred person for the vacant running mate position, as traditional rulers and internal party lobbies queue to make their requests.
It is sufficient to believe that the selection of a running mate from the Volta region, a man who has paid his dues to the root, stem, and branch of the NDC.
Any Ankafama Amakufibua. No, so my vice president.
We're live on the ground as Mensah Mahama continues his building Ghana tour as more communities make their case for their indigents to be nominated as his running mate.
It's Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Tonight, more loud voices are emerging, piling pressure on the NDC flag bearer, John Mahama, to choose their preferred person for the vacant running mate position. Mr. Mahama has been forced to engage a host of traditional rulers, each making a strong case for their indigent nominated. Today, there are even louder voices from within the NDC itself, NDC lobbyists taking to the media in the Volta region to demand that the former president choose his running mate from the NDC stronghold. More on that pretty shortly. But first, let me take you to the trail now where Mr. Mahama has been continuing his tour. And I want to bring in Nana Yaujima, who is with him. Nana, where are you tonight? Hello, Nana, can you hear me?
Yeah, Evans.
Where are you tonight?
So, moments ago, John Mahama wrapped up his campaign tour here in the Western North region with a town hall meeting at Teshi Debiso. So, at the moment, the tour to the Western North region is concluded.
See, and we've seen a lot of the traditional rulers he's been visiting, making a strong case for their indigents to be nominated as his running mate. It dates back to Sunyani, right, where the Queen Mother there made a case.
So in Sunyani, Queen Mother was not specific with her choice of running mate, but the request was that someone from the Bono region should be chosen for the role. According to her, the Bono region has continued to support the NDC, but is yet to get someone occupy the space of vice president. Let's listen to Nana Akosua Dia Sika Aso make that request.
Yaba Paba, ebi no mo ede ye ede pe bibi keke. Ebe di si a cho abano, no bi de sempuanka prebi, no de abesesa o nema. Eno de mesra mo pa se wagina ama obi na opese odi nkunim na wo wasetena mu yie di a e wo se wo do na si form na wugina ba bia wugina. Mayanfa emubi emedada menyame gina nachi echigina pa traditional council ejina nachi echigina pa yenim se na empire ebebo ha no ebekọ echirichirichiri na ade ba ko a mesre baso ne se ni yiri fia ni chairman fia ne chese na tichufo nyina efi bro mesre me papa said this time round no. One
important thing is that his wife, his chairman, and most of his people are from Bono. So let's support him. We also urge him to choose his running mate from Bono.
So that's Bono. And then yesterday in Seshiri also, there was another request placed before him.
So the chief of Seshiri also indicates that aside the founding president, Kwame Nkrumah, the Western region and its environs is yet to have another person in the high office. So, according to him, Emmanuel Amakufibua is best fit to represent the interest of the Western region and also the Western North region. Mind you, his candidate, that's Mr. Amabua, hails from the Western region, out of which the Western North was carved. Let's listen to Katechi Kwesi Bumangama.
I'm so called Bruno. Sunyane, Ohima Bibisa, Ohima Bika, Sembe to Wasum. Says, I would you so vice in Edia, and then Kabeyi, Obifi Bruno.
When you went to the Bono region, they told you that if you are looking for a vice president, consider someone from there.
And the answer I catch was there. If you may have come and Kuma dear Kumia, I'll come and Kuma few Western regional. You know, will be Asada.
We are making a similar appeal for the Western region. Nobody has been vice president from this place since independence. So please consider Amakufibua.
And the answer I send here, no, I send here, no. So, born him at choosing a candidate there. And the answer all Western and Western of no. The answer you to see a candidate. Now your candidate, no, and the Amakufibua.
And it appears it's almost like a competition. Yes, so the Bono region, the Queen Mother make the request. Okay, so we also have a request before you. What has been Mr. Muhammad's response? Hello, Nana, can you hear me?
Yeah, Evans.
How's the former president responding to this?
So, according to the former president and the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC constitution outlines how the choice should be made. That is, the constitution states that the flag bearer should consult functional executives and council of elders to come to a conclusion on the choice that should be made. So he urged the traditional authority to continue praying for the person that they wish that the NDC should choose as a running mate of the party, and he urged calm among the rank and file of the party.
Na neka ho MC region bia mekobia obia wo the candidate and so like I say ya bompai meka wo bono say ekwan a ya de eyi running mate no ya throw a constitution mo.
And also, it seems that in every region I go, they propose a candidate that they want. But I will say, let's pray. I mentioned in the Bono region that there are constitutional rules governing how to select a candidate.
Nanya menkwa na me use any pano. Ya me functional executive committee and the council of elders and ya DT boom. Na ya share lister and kofa sefata se ye ni perfume. Enti ya share sa list na ni na
it is between myself, functional executives, and the Council of Elders who go through a number of people.
Na Saju Median so afie bay and ebe Saju Median ebia nyamia adoma February bosomi and ebe san nipano. Enti omo ompese yi omu nipa bia obi amompai. Say ebeka Makuma, any council of elders, Akuma, any functional executive committee for Nina Akuma, any national executive committee for Nina Akuma, na Omo yi said the panel, Amamo. And see, with the mestre say, Ina Benya Botre, na Emrenu Druha.
Hopefully, the selection process will be done next year in February. So, whoever supporting a particular candidate should pray for the person to be selected. I will pray for your patience. We all know that God crowns the king, and the NDC doesn't discriminate.
Nipa nyame aka say say nyame na si hene nti nipa nyame be yi na aka me hono ye be edwuma magana fo nyina obi enim say NDC ye nyimo.
Well, Nana, he didn't quite say I would do what you ask of me, which is nominate the individual they mentioned, Amakufibua. How did they react to his response to them?
So after that, we didn't get opportunity of listening to the traditional authority speak on the what the former president said, but some reaction among the people there is that they're expectant of the flag bearer's choice of running mate, because they believe that whoever is chosen will have a huge impact on the possibility of the former president coming back, staging a comeback to power.
Well, Nana, thank you very much. And just yesterday, we heard from the national chairman of the party, John Sasiru Nketia himself, who has been talking about the pressure that others are attempting to pile on John Mahama. He suggests that it is the making of their opponents, possibly in the NPP, and that nobody can succeed in putting pressure on the party to make a hasty decision on the matter. He actually suggests that some of what you've heard is fabricated.
I strongly believe, at times I believe that our opponents want to push some artificial controversy within our system, hoping that that will be something that we will be divided around and we will be fighting.
Okay.
But so far they haven't succeeded because our systems for choosing a running mate are never in doubt. And they are there, they have delivered. And so we are relying on that system to deliver.
Okay.
So the procedure doesn't include debates in the media about who is strong, who is weak, who is tall, who is female, who is male, and all these things. It's just people making noise to satisfy themselves. In fact, when I saw the publication that President Mahama has said he will be choosing a male, and it was a banner headline, and so I said, why? Where did this thing come from? And they say it came from his bonto.
Okay.
When I was sitting by him all along.
You didn't hear him say that?
No. So I don't know where these fabrications are coming from.
Maybe
but just to tell viewers that we have a system of selecting a running.
Well, a day after we had this, just today in the Volta region, a pro-youth group, an NDC youth group, the Volta NOT youth groups, they've come together to hold a press conference, and they are asking John Mahama to make a choice from the region. They also have their preferred candidate for that particular position, who they've been lobbying for. They spoke to the press.
Mr. Leslie Mensah Tamaklo comes to the leadership desk with a wide span of experience within the corridors of technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, infrastructure, and renewable energy relative to decades of industrial engagement with the World Bank. In attempt to rescue this country, come January 7, 2025, as our campaign tagline suggests, it is necessary, without a second thought, to engage an individual with such rich experiences to team up with the president and the able brains of the NDC to deliver development and progress to our stagnant economy. It is sufficient to believe that the selection of a running mate from the Volta region, a man who has paid his dues to the root, stem, and branch of the NDC, will equally be an honor to the fathers and the very soil that birthed the beliefs and ideologies of our great party.
I will be speaking pretty shortly with the party. The Deputy General Secretary of the party is with John Mahama on the ground. He'll join us with his thoughts on all this we've been hearing tonight. But I want to bring in Dr. Ali Seidu, who's the head of the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana, into the conversation. Doc, thank you very much for your time here on Top Story on this. So when you hear the traditional authorities, now of course we're hearing from within the party itself, but let's stick with the traditional authorities making their case. Is it organic request or is being procured? Are people lobbying through the traditional rulers?
Thank you so much, Evans, and good evening to your listeners. It could be two ways. That the traditional leaders just believe that an indigene from their traditional area should be selected as a running mate, so that it could trickle in benefits, distributive benefits to the community, to the traditional area, and to that particular region. So they may be looking at the basically collective benefit and then of the area, of the community, and of the traditional area. So they believe that somebody from that area can facilitate that. It could also be that the individual in question, whose name has been mentioned, believe that it is more appropriate to lobby to do the traditional leaders because of the respect that they command in our Ghanaian community, and also because of the fact that when they speak with one voice, it is assumed that all the people in that particular community may do what they say. So when the presidential candidate listens to them, there is the possibility that it could translate into a collective, that particular traditional region to the party. So I see it in both ways. Could be an individual lobbying through the revered chiefs, or it could also be that the chiefs think that if we get somebody from our locality or local area to this particular elevated position, it could trickle down in terms of benefit to the community and to the traditional area at large.
Stay with me. Let me bring in Mustafa Gbande, is the Deputy General Secretary of the party. Mustafa Gbande, the calls are growing louder. You've been on the ground with the former president. He's hearing these requests. How is he dealing with all that?
Thank you very much, and good evening to Evans, your cherished listeners. I think the calls are louder than you know. What is testament on the ground is that the NDC have groomed a lot of people, and regional balance is a very big consideration in political appointments and leadership representations for the country. In view of that, people have the right to lobby for running mates, particularly where it is very obvious that the next government of this country is going to be led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And so you see chiefs showing interest. Now, President Mahama have made it very clear that the issue of selecting a running mate is not just about lobbying, but it goes through a lot of consultations in terms of the structures of the party, and that he has intimated that that process is ongoing, and one person out of the lot who are expressing interest would definitely be chosen to be the running mate of His Excellency
What that means is that somebody will be disappointed. One of the traditional rulers will be disappointed. You're not worried that can come back to become an issue?
No, it is not about traditional rulers. I mean, traditional rulers will be very happy that of all the NDC people, one of their own have an ambition and manifest the qualities of a running mate. They will be very happy, so that every contest, every race that you get engaged in, someone is supposed to emerge. Someone is supposed to be disappointed. It's not a disappointment, but it simply means that your time will come. What is good for the party is that the number of people showing interest to be running mates, to be president, shows succession, shows the next generational leaders of the party. And as a party, we are very happy with that. But the issue of selection rests to the leadership of the party in consultation with Council of Elders and the flag bearer. One person will emerge, taking into consideration the times we are in, strategy of the party, regional balances, and a candidate that will best match the president to form a next government. That is very key today. So if you are coming from an area or a particular place where your regional balance is so good, but in terms of experience, you might not have the experience, then the party will not take your regional balance and leave the experience. So all these things, these factors will have a role to play. Even it's a season that we are in. We are very familiar with this season, and the NDC is happy that the season is going very peaceful. What is very important in this whole manifestation is that it is very obvious that chiefs are very interested in the next government, and they see that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to lead this country with either their kinsmen or either their subjects to be able to partner as a running mate or a vice president potentially. So that is very important for the NDC.
I mean, is the party feeling this pressure? John Mahama himself, is he under pressure to make a decision, and to make a decision sooner than later?
Yes, he's under pressure, and which is very obvious. That pressure is very obvious. That pressure is a positive pressure. And for me, you don't see that in the MPP. Nobody is interested in what is happening in the MPP because they've lost credibility. People are interested because they see hope. They see light at the end of the tunnel. People want to be vice president, not just running mates. And so we are happy that that is manifesting itself. But as leadership, a ceiling has been made a rule has been made, there's a right time where the running mate will be adored and mentioned, and all other contestants who are hoping their names could be mentioned, if their names don't come up, they will come and support for us to move. You have seen that in our primaries. We are done selecting our flag bearer. All other candidates who contested and lost have rallied around the president. Same will happen when we get to the running mate issue.
Today, there's been a press conference in the Volta region. A group of NDC youth from the Volta and Ota regions, they came together and they are asking the party to make a decision, and the decision must come from the Volta region. They had a particular name that they put out there. This is not the first time I've heard this, that there are people who believe Volta region needs to be recognized because it's been pretty loyal to you as your stronghold.
It's important this advocacy goes on. What if His Excellency John Dramani Mahama decides to choose Bandi Mustafa as his running mate, except that will mean war for the MPP, and so I will not be chosen now. But that advocacy is very important. Like I said, it shows that there is hope. It shows that the NDC have over time produced a lot of its officials and individuals who are capable of succession, who are capable of becoming president,
but I'm
who are
curious
capable of becoming vice president.
I'm curious about the Volta region factor. Do you agree that it's time for the party to consider a running mate from that region because it's your stronghold?
I agree that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will select a running mate. That is a constitutional provision. That decision goes through a lot of consultational structures. Council of Elders, Functional Executive Committee of the party are involved. The clergy will be consulted. A lot of interest groups will be consulted. And at the end of the day, a lot of factors will be considered and one choice will be made. And that choice will stand for the NDC and the Volta region, including other regions where advocacy may have come from.
And Dr. Lucedo, what do you make of this argument that this running mate must come from the Volta region? Is there merit in this? Do you find merit in that?
Yeah, Evans, I think there are a lot of issues that may be considered here. I think, first of all, is the Volta region representing that will represent the region. But when we are doing the analysis, we actually look at the role of that candidate, but also the contribution of the region towards NDC victory. With regards to the individual, we are looking at somebody who may have a presidential quality or abilities to govern in the absence of the president. So leadership qualities or presidential qualities is quite essential. If a region is advocating for a candidate and that candidate doesn't have that quality, like my initial speaker said, it may not be accepted. So the presidential quality is important, but also the contribution. How would that individual contribute to the success of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC? The contribution could be monetary, your ability to bankroll the campaign, to be able to do a lot of things that they wouldn't have been able to do, that could translate into votes for the party. Or the significant or collective contribution, aggregate vote that will come from your region, if you are selected from that region, and the impact that vote will make in deciding that the victory of the NDC in 2024. But also, will the person be able to work with the flag bearer? It's very important because cordiality is essential in choosing a running mate for a flag bearer. But lastly, Evans, I'm thinking about continuity in leadership. His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama, should he win, will do only 4 years. Will he choose somebody with continuity in mind, somebody who can take up the mantle and win the election in 2028 for the NDC, or is going to choose somebody that will be comfortable working with, and after the 4-year period, leave the NDC to scramble for the next person who will lead them? So I think all these factors will come into play strictly. When you look at the permutations, I think Volta region and Oti region, the 3 northern regions or the 5 northern regions have always been the backbone of the NDC. But if all these regions even vote for the NDC, it will be very difficult for the NDC to win elections in this country. So I think a lot of people are calling for looking beyond the Volta region and going to maybe an Akan-dominated region. The running mate should be an Akan, either from Ashanti region or any of the Akan-speaking regions, because of the dominance of the Akan vote. and the significant contribution their canned vote can make to NDC victory in 2024. So I believe there will be a lot of factors that will be considered beyond just regional call or the call by our revered chiefs. So I think a lot of permutations goes into it, and I'm happy that it's not just going to be the decision of the flag bearer, but the flag bearer is going to make this decision in consultation with the Council of Elders of the party and other stakeholders. And at the end of the day, I think they will reflect deeply and choose somebody that can bring NDC victory 2024.
Mustafa Gbande, when will decision be made? What does your constitution say?
Please come again.
When will a decision be made? What does your constitution say?
His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama assures that next year he would outdoor a selected candidate to pair him as a running mate and a possible vice president in 2025. And so the processes are underway. Names are also coming up. Reviews are being done. Consultations are also ongoing. Hopefully by next year, February, March, we should be able to cross that bridge.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Mustafa Gbande, is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. And I have some developing story to bring you from the OA transport station here at Aveno, where we're learning of an outbreak, a fire outbreak there. I want to bring in right now my colleague Fosti Nasafo, who is on the ground for us tonight. Fosti, what can you report?
Hi, Evans. What I can report is currently we're at the OA Travel and Tours Terminal here at Aveno. Now, a vehicle is here burnt beyond recognition. As to what triggered the fire, we cannot tell. But we know that what is left of this vehicle now are twisted metals and ash. Well, the police are also tight-lipped about the situation. When we came, immediately we got here, we noticed that they whisked away 2 individuals. They said that they were attempting to steal some of the items in the bus as at when they got here. But I have with me ADO1, Alex Kinnate. He's member of the PR department of the fire service. What's the current situation?
Well, as it stands now, our men have been able to put the fire, and I'll say we've extinguished it. We could have extinguished it. We could have extinguished it much earlier if not for the obstruction that we face. The good thing is that our colleagues from the police are here, and from the information I received, upon the arrival of the police, law and order was prevailed. So it's not unfortunate. Our men really faced a lot of attacks, from oil being poured on them, from bottles being thrown at them, from stones being thrown at them, anything that the people here could lay their hands on, they threw at our men. They broke the windscreen, they broke the handle to the lockers. Some of them sustained stone injuries. So for now, the fire is under control, and we are trying to collaborate with the police to be able to help apprehend the people who are behind this heinous crime.
Now let's understand what triggered this attack, because you're the fire service. You're here to help the situation. What actually happened?
Based on what I've gathered, when our men arrived at the scene, the people here started attacking them, and one the opposition obstructed them from entering the scene of the fire. But then they were able to prevail and entered. Once they entered and they were trying to come out, the people then started attacking them and obstructing them from getting down, and then started attacking them. I think they had this perception that we kept long, but the good thing is that I was live on radio, and at the time we received the call, our men were here in less than 10 minutes. So the unfortunate thing is that as a service, we don't have any device to be able to detect when there's fire is here, until we are called in, we won't be able to know that there's fire. So we can never be blamed when things like this happen.
Interesting. So the reason why they were so upset when you came here was because of the perception that the fire service arrived late. Well, Evans, that's the current situation here at OA Travel and Tours Terminal at Circle. We'll be engaging managers of the facility shortly to get more information about it. But currently, the fire is under control. We know that some of the individuals here who had their items in the bus, were unable to salvage any of them. So they're counting their losses as we speak. We'll try and speak to them in subsequent bulletin, but Evans, over to you.
Thank you very much, Fosi. We'll keep an eye on that developing story there at the OA transport station here at Avena, where there's been a fire outbreak. A particular vehicle has been completely burnt beyond recognition. News Night in a minute.
Of late, things no easy, crowd. For my business inside, pressure day from customers. If I make payments, give suppliers, Okada riders, delivery charges, it no easy. Things no they move fast like before because everything make expensive. The family where they house, see what are they talk? Family where they call they ask for another money. It no easy. Vodafone Cash be the only thing where they make my ID get to. If I they do transfers for Vodafone Cash, it they save me money. If you they do Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash transactions, still no transfer charges dey. Even if I they send money to another network, I they get value.
Make you dial *110# to send money. Sending money from Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash still be free. Vodafone.
Good evening and welcome to News Night. We are live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. Tonight, the Supreme Court says its decision on some 72,000 acres of land that affects about 70 communities in some parts of Accra should not open the floodgates for attempts to recover possession and trigger demolition orders. We have details as the court says persons affected by the judgment should atone their tenancy. We'll hear from some affected landowners who are already expressing concerns about it.
When it happens that someone comes and say, "Leave here, we are coming to take the place," it will always worry me.
If I'll follow the process and then pay anything way I can pay so that my property not take from me.
Also tonight on Newsnight.
We are now talking about giving license to people to produce weed. Whilst I don't have the potential of stopping this, Ghana is blessed enough. None of this is able to save our country. So is this the reason we are coming to expose ourselves? Not from this thing that we is coming to save our economy.
The issue about cannabis returns to Parliament. This time, the legislative instrument on the cannabis law is sparking fresh controversy in the House, with the minority insisting it will create room for abuse.
Mr. Speaker, we're not talking about just a leaf in someone's backyard. We're talking about a whole industry that is being created, and I don't see why we can't take advantage of it.
We'll get to hear from the Subsidiary Legislation Committee Chairman Dominic Ayine, reiterating that the weed for recreational purposes has not been legalized in Ghana.
Mr. Speaker, this puts it beyond doubt that Parliament has not legalized cannabis for recreational purposes.
We have details of that and stay a while longer in Parliament. A Medina MP Francis Xavier Susu introduces new private members bill for 2 holidays each for Muslims in Ghana.
If you have a proposal that allows for a day before the Eid to be a holiday and then the Eid also being a holiday, it gives them enough time to rest, to recuperate so they can go back to work, and be more effective.
You want to stay for details of that.
And in business, continuous decline in prices of some foodstuffs helped push inflation to a record 26.4% for the month of November.
In sports, a successful showing at the AFCON for Ghana depends on the level of preparation the team receives, and that's according to former player Augustine Ahimfo.
And in our Drive Safe campaign, 6 persons lose their lives daily in Ghana, accounting for a total of 50,000 deaths for the past 21 years from road traffic accidents.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
Road accident is no respecter of person, is no respecter of age, it doesn't respect status, doesn't respect religion. We are all vulnerable.
And much later this dirty December, make Ghana music your only priority, a charge from the Creative Arts Council.
We need our artists pushed to the forefront, to be prioritized in the nightclubs and on the airways. Let that tourist sample not only the best jollof in the world, but the best artists too.
We'll have details of that and more here on Newsnight. Do you want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp 055 1111 997. I am Emefa Apawu.
And my name is Evans Mensah. Details after this.
Go! We all go bring some savannah. Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paint, we all go paint some. We all go paint some Savannah. We all go paint some.
It's raining beautiful goodies at Maidan Home Deco this Christmas.
Joy to the world.
Our stores are wide open and ready to treat you this Yuletide. Maidan Home Deco has all the essentials to decorate your home. Christmas decorations, throw pillows, vases, photo frames, and many more. We assist clients create their personal and corporate hampers with our exquisite gift items. Your bedrooms will come alive with our high-quality bed and bath products made of 100% Egyptian cotton. Our international brands such as Canon, Fieldcrest, Waverly are leaders in offering the most comfortable pillows, towels, bed in a bag, duvets in amazing colors and textures. It's a good time of year to give your home a facelift. Maidan is ready to give your home a simple yet trendy look. Look out for us in Accra, Junction, Achimota, and West Hills Mall. Follow us on Instagram. Maidan Home Deco. We bring quality and comfort to your home.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with star 712 hash as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on star 712 hash and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on star 712 hash.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsline. Let's start off from that Supreme Court ruling that sparked a lot of talk about lands. And you know that landmark ruling says the court has been clarifying in that judgment. It says on some 72,000 acres of land that affects about 70 communities in some parts of Accra should not open the floodgates for attempts to recover possession and trigger demolition orders. Well, this follows the decision of the court that the Numo Imashi family of Teshi could not claim ownership of the affected lands because the Court of Appeal's decision in 1982, which declared them owners of the piece of land, was based on fraudulent information presented to the appeals court then. Now, the Supreme Court in its ruling also directed the Lands Commission to expunge all registration and certificates issued to the Numo Imashi family of Teshi and the Tete Olewolong family in respect of the 72,000 acres occupied by 72 communities. Legal Affairs correspondent Richard Kojonyako has been following this. He has a copy of the judgment, joins us in studio with more. So let's walk through the background to this particular judgment, Richard.
So, Emefa, the entire matter on this land case dates back to 1966 following a compulsory acquisition by the state of 25 acres of land on the Ajankote Hill. And this led to several compensation claims by different groups. So following that, the State Lands Tribunal declared the chief of Brekuso as being entitled to the compensation against the Numo Mashi family and the Dowuna family of Osu. The Numo Mashi family then challenged the decision of the Court of Appeal in December 1982. The decision of the tribunal was subsequently overturned by the Court of Appeal and declared the Numo Mashi family as the rightful family entitled to the compensation. The decision of the court was also based on a survey done by a surveyor who told the court that the communities within the disputed area were occupied by members of the Numo family and that some communities had been established there. So the Numo Mashi family has since claimed to be owners of the 70 communities covering over 72,000 acres, and following this, appeals upon appeals have been had, and this led us to the Supreme Court.
Well, we'll talk about the concern about the judgment and all the reaction that has been coming in. But Richard, I'm curious. Please walk us through the affected areas by this judgment.
Well, so we have Pediase, we have Obom, we have Ochrenkwamfo, we have Kote, we have Mensah, Kweman, Odonko Krom, Brekuso, Teman, Obojo, La Bawaleshi, Tessa, Adwingano, Amanfro, Abokobi, Oyarefa, Ajang, Gote, Pantime, Frafraha, Apenkwa, Ashongman, Agboba, Adenta, Madina, Nkwantanan, Ashalibutwe, Mantechuru, Ablekuma, Teshi, and Pehe Ridge. And other communities as well.
He wants to know whether OEB is in there.
No. I've gone through the list and I've not seen OEB in there.
But I want to.
You want more of that?
I'll just listen.
More.
Well, we'll get through to all the list, but be rest assured, OEB is not there. But we'll see how it goes.
Is that where he stays?
No, he has an interest in OEB.
What about Dansuman?
Oh, Dansuman is not
Official town is also not there.
Official town is
okay.
Kokomlimle is not part.
Not part.
You.
Oh, okay. So really, the issue about the atonement of our tenancy, because that's what the Supreme Court is ordering. What exactly does the court mean when it say that tenants should atone their tenancy with the new owners?
So what it means is that they should regularize their tenancy with the appropriate families that a judgment says possess the right title. They need to recognize them as such, and so there is a customary performance. So that's the kind of relationship. But in Ghana here, we know that when they say that you should regularize your tenancy with the one who possesses the title, we know what it means, but we do not want to speculate anything.
Well, interesting. But should tenants be worried about this particular ruling?
No. So Emefa, what the Supreme Court says that is that the judgment of the court is not to open the floodgate for attempt to recover possession and trigger demolition orders, particularly in relation to grantees of the affected areas not falling within the scope of the judgment. It goes ahead to say that persons who have acquired grants from the Numo Mashi family in areas which by this judgment have been held not to belong to the defendant family and have taken possession of those pieces of lands shall not be dispossessed of their interests. Such persons, the court says, shall however atone tenants to the relevant stool of family as per the decision reached in this judgment. And so there are several families, and so you need to recognize or identify the family that owns that particular land.
Okay. Well, we know that previously when they said they should atone, it used to be just drinks going back to the new owners and then give drinks amongst others. But now in modern days, is it still the same?
Well, so we've heard stories about some people occupying some tract of land that have paid like 2, 3, 4 times. And so when this judgment sprang up, in fact, they are beginning to wonder, am I going to pay for the 5th or the 6th time?
That's the concern. Reason why Evans is making sure that OEB is not in there. But my colleague Samuel Imbura has been to some of the communities that you've mentioned affected by this particular judgment, and he's been speaking to some of them.
I was surprised. I'm really surprised that someone will come and say to me, say, maybe leave here, we are going to do this or that here. I'm really surprised to hear such things. Because I have lived here for almost about 30 years or so. I came here in 1985. So, and I've been in the house for a long time. So when it happens that someone comes and say, leave here, we are coming to take the place, it will always worry me. Because right now I'm sick and I don't have money. If there's a place to rent a place, I don't have money to rent that place. So I'm really worried. Yeah.
So it will affect me more. So I would like to follow the process that my property doesn't take from me. So if I hear that there, I'll follow the process and then pay anything way I can pay so that my property not take from me.
Well, so we've been checking also with the Lands Commission following the order also to the Lands Commission by the Apex Court on what they ought to do, expunging the names of the previous owners amongst others. We've also been hearing from lawyer Kwame Jan. I interacted with him this afternoon just when we got a weighing off this particular judgment, and this is what he told me.
So if Numomachi people sold you land in Hacho, you will not go to the boys too. Okay. You will go to the Niyama Sogbala people for good title. So wherever you are, if you are in Adenta, everybody knows that Adenta is Agbawe quarter of La. So you have to go to the right people, not the boys too. If you are in Oyarifa, you don't go to the boys too. But Oyarifa is La and Agbawe quarter.
Right now, the challenge is knowing who exactly owns the land.
Exactly.
Because property owner, if people come to me,
who your landlord is.
Exactly. So if people come to me at this point following this particular Supreme Court order, what do I have to do as a property owner?
If you are a property owner, And for example, if you are in East Legon, the area popularly known as Bawaleshi, there are judgments of course of competent jurisdiction who say that East Legon, La Bawaleshi, and Otele belong to the Klana quarter of La. So, I mean, you can even get assistance from the Lands Commission.
Okay.
The Lands Commission is the best place to go now. If you have any doubt as to who your landlord is in this current state of affairs, go to the Lands Commission. Show them where your parcel is. Because by order of the Supreme Court, the Lands Commission has to lapse all the documents which have been presented by clients of Numo Mashi.
So that's what we ought to do now. You've been checking from the Lands Commission also. What have they been telling you when it comes to what we have to do?
Well, so usually when a judgment like that comes, what the person that secured the judgment does is that they will write a formal application to the Lands Commission, and then what they would attach is a certified true copy of the judgment, and then they will take to the Land Commission. It's a whole process. They need to activate that kind of process, and then the portions or the tract of land that the Supreme Court says it should be deleted from the system, they can carry out the orders of the court.
Okay. Now, we want you to take us through this list, because we all want to know if we are affected or not. And Evans is eagerly awaiting that. So let's go through.
I also pulled the document.
Okay, so let's go through it, gentlemen.
From the smile on your face, it looks as if that you may be affected.
Maybe yes, because I see here.
So I have Peduase, I have Obum, I have Insachi, I have Ajimanti, I have Brotrasi, I have Damfa, I have Adoteman, I have Otinibi, I have Malejano.
Otinibi is my area.
Yeah, the area of your interest?
Yeah, it's generally that area. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you've landed in the center of the action. Ochre Konfo, Kotei, Tabuadidi, Ayim, Adenkrebi, Abefia, Ayimensa, Kweman, Odonko Krum, and Kwejo Krum. What do you have there, Evans?
So you also have Ote Krum, Otopram. You have Brekuso. You have Banko. You have Dedekrum. Dedekrum, yes. You have Sesame. You have Teman. You have Papao. You have Ogbojo.
Oh.
Yes, Ogbojo. Yes, you have Ogbojo. You have Ademan. You have Impehuasem. You have Intingshi. You have Otano. La Baolishi. That's where we had the voices from, La Baolishi area there. We have Tessa. We have Ajegano. We have Boegono. You have Ashiye. You have Amanfro. You have Babamase. You have Abokobi. You have Nyamikrom. You have Oyarefa. You have Ogaha.
And then I have
Ogoha.
Ajangote, Akoman, Boy, Pantine, Sempene, Frafraha, Apenkwa, Ablajei, Ankome, Ashongman, Agbogba, Adenta, Otua, Madina, Nkwantanan, Ashaliboche, Ocho Okuman, Matechuru, Gbachuma, Okpegong, Ablekuma, Odedibeng, Ableshia, Aligon, Mangwasi, Teshi, and Peshi Ridge.
So that's pretty comprehensive area. 72,000 acres.
70 communities. Wow. We'll see how it goes. If anybody comes to you, Evans, in your area, you would let us know, right?
I would definitely
let us know what kind of atonement you go through. But, well, this is an issue. It's a serious matter, and we're following up on it, hoping to hear from the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, the Lands Commission especially, because that Supreme Court directive to them to take steps and processes. And you've been hearing from lawyer Kwame Jan, knowing the right person to atone is the concern. You have to go to the Lands Commission, but you ought to stay calm in all this so that you don't fall for fraudulent activities, particularly in this period. We need to go to Parliament now, and that controversy is back. The issue about is it cannabis, I should say.
Well, Minority Chief Whip there, Governor Kwame Agboja, is warning that the Narcotics Control Commission law passed by Parliament will be abused. Today, an airline laid by government through the Interior Minister, which will actualize the law passed to legalize the use of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purpose, matured. We will hear from Governor Kwame Agboja shortly. But first, to the chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, Dr. Dominic Ayine, who reiterates that Parliament has not passed a law to legalize cannabis for recreational purposes.
Without lawful authority, proof of which lies on that person, has possession or control of a narcotic drug for use or for trafficking, commits an offense. And Mr. Speaker, it goes on to say that a person who commits an offense in subsection 1 for use is liable on summary conviction to a fine imposed in accordance with the penalties specified in the second schedule, and an additional term of imprisonment specified in the second schedule if the fine is not paid. So, Mr. Speaker, this puts it beyond doubt that Parliament has not legalized cannabis for recreational purposes, and that anybody caught using cannabis for recreational purposes on the belief that it has been legalized will only be putting themselves into trouble. Mr. Speaker, in the circumstances, your committee has recommended that the legislative instrument be allowed to pass in accordance with Article 11(7)(a) of the Constitution after the mandatory 21 sitting days have elapsed. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante will let us in on the debate properly. And what exactly were the concerns of Kwame Agboja? We've been hearing him talk about the fact that this law will be abused and that we will not change the fortunes of the country.
We know that this law, which was passed by Parliament some months back, actually suffered a legal setback when the Supreme Court struck portions of it out. Parliament decided to reenact the same portions into the law and has since passed this new LI, which is going to actualize the usage of cannabis for medicinal and industrial purposes. Governor Kwame Agboja says it is not weed that will solve the trouble of this country. And while this law is for medicinal and industrial purposes, Ghana does not have the mechanism to prevent people from using it for recreation.
Mr. Speaker, I think the way we speak about this is a bit problematic. Mr. Speaker, I heard colleagues make reference to even Zimbabwe. Mr. Speaker, just last month, let me remind them, the Herald of Zimbabwe, my colleague Dakwame just talked about how efficient and protected the system is. The Herald of Zimbabwe said, last year, only 2,500 tons of weed or the product was exported legally. Over 300,000 tons was exported illegally. Where is the control we are talking about there? So this idea that we are doing this and it's going to be under certain control, Mr. Speaker, I keep asking them, look, the ranking talk about HTC. Unfortunately, the young man abusing weed in this country is not going to take whatever he got to a laboratory to test the HTC content before he smokes. And THC. And none of you is ever talking about the potential of abuse and how that can degenerate into mental health problem we already have in this country. Why are we pretending that this is going to solve our problem? Minister, do you even know how many people in this country are smoking weed illegally? Even electricity that the sources we produce are known. We are unable to police the amount of electricity we produce in this country. We are now talking about giving license to people to produce weed. In fact, Mr. Speaker, whilst I don't have the potential of stopping this, Mr. Speaker, the fact is that Ghana is blessed enough with gold, diamond, everything. In fact, just recently we passed e-levy. None of this is able to save our country. In any case, do you know how much Zimbabwe earned? The highest they've earned, $130 million. So is this the reason we are coming to expose ourselves even to much a risk? Why from this thing that we is coming to save our economy?
And Kweku, the new vice chair of the Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee, Sarah Josafu, was on her feet, disagreeing with Minority Chief Whip.
Yes, according to the John Kwabena MP, Ghana needs money. and that allowing cannabis for medicinal and industrial purposes will bolster the country's finances because of the record that exists all over the world that when you allow cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes, the country benefits financially.
Mr. Speaker, we're not talking about just a leaf in someone's backyard. We're talking about a whole industry that is being created. And if we have our fertile lands here and we can grow and make sure that right framework is in place, Mr. Speaker, I don't see why we can't take advantage of it. And for that purpose, I would want to support the motion that is on the floor. We have taken that big step, which is passing the parent law. And an ally is only a subsidiary legislation that is complementing it. And it is nothing, it's not going to depart from the framework, the legal framework already set out in the parent law. Mr. Speaker, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, if you look on page 9 of the report, indicates that the global market for cannabis could hit, meaning it's a projection on their part, could hit USD 28.47 billion. Mr. Speaker, this is the market we're looking at. And how can Ghana place itself on that international market when we have all it takes in terms of fertility of our lands, in terms of having labor available on our farms, to take a bite of this projection that the United Nations has made when it comes to cannabis? Mr. Speaker, we need to diversify our economy. We have to move away from the traditional sources of income or foreign earnings for this country, being gold, being cocoa. This is the time that there's a revolution globally. And so we need to take advantage of that and diversify our economy and get the needed foreign exchange to balance our payments or balance sheet.
I want to stay in Parliament because there's a very interesting private members bill that has been introduced today that would increase the number of holidays for Muslims, but also make it possible that holidays that fall in the middle of the week are pushed to Friday. And Francis Xavier Susu, who is a member of Parliament for Medina, introduced in Parliament today this new private members bill, which will allow for 2-day holiday each for the Muslim Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Now, currently, Muslims have only a day to celebrate those festive occasions. The bill also makes sweeping changes to the Holidays Act, including that proposal that all holidays which fall between Tuesday and Thursday must be observed on Friday to increase productivity. We'll get into those pretty shortly, but listen to his argument on the floor.
Currently, we have 13 holidays. If we are able to do that, what it means is that we can actually cut our holidays down to around 9, because there wouldn't be the need for you to change holidays. If it falls on Saturday, you mark it. If it falls on Sunday, you mark it. And so that gives us a room to allow for additional 2 days holidays that can be used as Islamic holidays, just to bring more equity, religious diversity into the country. Because when you look at the mandatory 40 days, Ramadan, it puts a lot of stress, health stress on persons of Islamic faith, both young and old. And right after the end of that, we have the Eid al-Fitr, and then the following day they have to go back to work. In fact, that affects, a number of them. And that is why if you have a proposal that allows for a day before the Eid to be a holiday, and then the Eid also being a holiday, it gives them enough time to rest, to recuperate, so they can go back to work, and be more effective in their workplaces. In the same way, if you look at the Eid Adha, if by Islamic laws or by the Holy Quran, should be celebrated for like 3 days. So if you go to other countries, they have like 6 days, 16 days for some of these. But of course, Ghana is a secular state, but we have a lot of respect for religious diversity. And so in respecting that space, it will be good to add 1 more day, so that there are 2 days. You have 1 day for prayer, you have 1 day to do your sacrifices, and that actually generally help promote religious diversity and inclusiveness in Ghana. And so that is the essence of the proposal.
let's bring him into the conversation. I wonder, Francis Xavier Sosu, this particular proposal before the House in this private members bill, has it got the input of the Muslim community, say the chief imam, for example?
Well, good evening, and good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners. Yes, I hail from Medina as an MP for Medina, so my immediate constituents are the Muslims in Medina, who I have extensively consulted on this matter. And, I had a project called the Islam Project as part of my interventions in Medina. And the Islam Project has been fighting for matters that borders on Islam and providing support for the Islamic community. For example, we have the Makaranta Harmonization Program. And this is just one of those many innovations that we've been discussing at that level. And if you check even the names of the holidays, with the Tashriq and the Shak, these are days that were, or names that were coined and actually suggested by imams in Medina.
And also, the other proposal in the bill to have all holidays falling between Tuesday and Thursday moved to Friday. In essence, what it means is, if this is passed, our holidays will always be marked on Friday and Monday, correct?
That is correct, sir.
What's the rationale for that?
Well, the rationale is to promote productivity with our holidays. Currently, sometimes you have a holiday, maybe you spend your weekend, you come back on Monday, and then you have a holiday on Tuesday. Or sometimes you have a holiday on Thursday, only for you to go and come back on Friday. And so it's not very, very effective way of using holidays. And if you look at other jurisdictions, they even term it bank holiday, because traditionally or historically, it began as a practice in banks, where when holidays fall within what they call the productive days, which is Tuesdays to Thursdays, they would shift them to Fridays. And so it is just in line with best practices that we do this, just to enhance our holiday experiences and our holiday practice in Ghana.
Thank you very much, Francis Xavier Susu there. What do you make of that, Emefa Apawu? I don't need your opinion on the matter. I know you agree. I agree in full. George Affe is here with me right now. George?
Interesting. I mean, the example has been drawn about bank holiday in UK, and what do we do to minimize the impact on productivity? And if that is the way to go, doesn't mean that Friday nothing happens on Friday.
Yeah,
but I think it's
a holiday. I have really never understood holidays that
on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday, and you come back to on Thursday. Why is it a holiday?
Because you're coming back to work after that day. Exactly. Therefore, there's a problem.
Exactly. That's psychologically. I've always struggled to pick myself up after that holiday on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know about all of you listening to us, but that's my. And so it has my full vote.
I see. Lobby your MP to vote for that bill.
Yeah, of course I will.
The MPs themselves will be happy.
They'll be very happy indeed. It means they can go to their constituencies and
the weekend.
Give them more. Join us with your thoughts on this. 055-111-1997. Do you agree, for example, first, that the Muslim holidays should be extended to 2 days each for Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, and then, of course, all holidays falling between Tuesday and Thursdays, move them to Friday? Send me your thoughts. George, what do you have in the headlines of this group?
Well, Evans, coming up in business, continuous decline in prices of some foodstuffs helped slow inflation rate to record 26.4% for the month of November this year. And also manufacturing firms highlight sorry state of industry with sales declining as some are moving into import and packaging. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
Imagine strutting into the most anticipated wedding of the year, only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN Just For You. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique Just For You package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
It is your time to vote for your assembly members and unit committee members. So get involved and vote. It's a civic duty required of you as a Ghanaian. So get involved and vote.
A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
Where for Shikibe? Where for Shikibe? Where for Shikibe? Yankotle at problem. Yankotle at problem. Yankotle at problem. Yankotle at problem. Me atawa mi vedako. Mi vedako. Mi atawa mi vedako. Mujeri, muteri, muje muteza Korea. Muje muteza Korea. Zakoria, Zakoria. Yehodo, Yehodo, Yehodo. It is your time to vote for your assembly members and unit committee members. So get involved and vote.
A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
Before Ogun, the god of fire, I stand on oath.
By popular demand,
You force words from me again? You beg Sarah!
the biggest play in the history of African theatre is back.
Odewale!
The gods are not to blame.
We sent you all the way to Ileife to bring us greetings from Ifa. Alright, we greet Ifa too. Thank you.
Monday 18th, Tuesday 19th, and Wednesday 20th December at the National Theatre at 7 p.m. each night. Yes, for 3 nights only. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Olarotimi's classic tale of fate, The Gods Are Not to Blame, for the last time in 2023 at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling now for only 150 cedis at www.imagebureaugh.com or dial star 711 star 11 star 25 hash. Supported by Joy FM and proudly brought to you by Image Bureau in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre.
I'm afraid! Yeah! media sambisa na mo. Enti emrantia no mu hwan pa na tumi hwe na mo bodompe mu ma na yakono.
Eye kwabna.
Na mu hwan so na tumi just mali memma ye nyina de.
Eye kojo.
En kro. Kobre tumi hwe na bodompe mu sense o yusu accident eba. Aye den aban ne do braye. Bo si echi na mo ho ban na sem ma na ho de ne.
Sa.
Ani na kudwo so yusu accident chako. Na no ne de e ma wo se wo ye kregen fita. Na wantimi asiri bedwe memma na feel you.
Ey kojo. Sa.
Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. Afedie.
Yakono natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katoyatu.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere. For everyone. Yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with star 712 hash as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on star 712 hash and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on star 712 hash.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. On the decline in prices of some foodstuffs helped slow inflation rate for the month of November to record 26.4%. But what were the other drivers for this development? More in this report.
The drop can be described as a record because this is the first time in a long while the rate has reached this level. The decline can be linked to the significant slowdown in the rate at which prices of some foodstuff had been increasing compared to the same period in 2022. Some of the foodstuff, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, that contributed to this slowdown were vegetable, cereals, and fish. The food inflation basket accounts for about 52.4% when it comes to calculating the overall national inflation rate. Therefore, any significant change in the basket may impact on the national inflation rate numbers. The Ghana Statistical Service data also showed that inflation on imported items stood at 27.1% compared to inflation on local items of 26.1%. However, when you try to track the general price levels from October 2023 to November 2023, the rate of inflation witnessed some marginal increase. The adjustment, on the other hand, was not that significant to increase the November rate. When we specifically focus on the food inflation numbers, it dropped by 44.8% in October 2023 to 32.2% in November 2023. The price of tea bag witnessed the highest price increase when it comes to calculating the inflation for imported items. Meanwhile, in November 2022, Ghana's inflation rate stood at 50.3%, representing a monthly increase of 8.6%.
And that is a Business Desk report. But can this new figure be purely linked to the slowdown in the rate of increase for the prices of foodstuffs? But what about the base drift effect? Let's hear from Government Statistician Professor Samuel Kobninin.
The conversation on the base effect broadly is that if over a period of time you see a significant increase in your rate of inflation, so over a 12-month period, you see a significant increase in your rate of inflation. In the next 12 months, as you return to normalcy and the rate of inflation stabilizes, the particular month that you saw a sharp increase in rate of inflation, you're going to see a corresponding sharp decrease. This is simply because if you are computing rate of inflation, as we said, is a change in your CPI. So your numerator is simply the CPI for the current period divided by your CPI for the previous period, in this case last year, and the denominator is also your CPI for the previous period. So the rate of inflation is influenced by three variables. One is CPI for the current period and the other is CPI for the previous period, which would enter both your numerator as a subtraction from the current period and the denominator.
Government Statistician Professor Samuel Kobninin. Now, manufacturing firms are highlighting the challenging state of industries despite claims that the economy is showing signs of recovery. They argue that sales are declining whilst some of them are looking at moving into import and packaging. Chief Executive of the Association, Sechuma Kwabwa, says the development calls for some intervention to save the situation.
challenging over the past 1.5 years or so that we've had all these challenges in the macroeconomic environment. And I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Industries are still struggling. If you talk to most of them, they will tell you that they are really struggling with their sales. And generally speaking, the general mood is that industries are struggling, sales are down, they are not meeting targets. And I'm not surprised that the data that was released clearly showed a bit of contraction in the industrial sector, especially manufacturing. But for a typical manufacturer who has invested so much resources, you will not overnight change a decision and change your business model and go and import. Naturally, they won't do so. They will only do so if the situation has gotten so bad that they get to a point where without such importation, they will not survive. They will only use that as a very last resort. But that tendency is there.
Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chumakabwa. Our government will secure the approval to spend next year from Parliament before the House goes on the Christmas recess. Now, this is what we've picked up from our parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante. They've been concerned that government could struggle to get the approval for the appropriation bill after the minority raised concerns about the proposed 5 billion Ghana cedis tax exemption. Kweku Asante has been giving us more details about the status of estimates approval.
Well, yes, if anything that we've seen in previous years is to go by, definitely by the 22nd of December when Parliament will adjourn for Christmas, all the various estimates for the respective ministry, department, and agencies would have been passed. The appropriation itself will be passed. Of course, there haven't been much that have become a controversy on the floor so far. There's not that controversy currently. And so we expect that by the 22nd, where sitting will largely go deep into the night, all this business will be done, and before MPs go on break, the appropriation will be passed and everything would have been given to the final. The various committees having to work on the various estimates of the various MDAs, the ministries, departments, and agencies of government. In fact, just gone by, about 2 billion Ghana cedis have been approved for the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology.
Kweku Asante with that update on the status of the appropriation bill as well as the estimate for the various ministries, departments and agencies. The African Development Bank has pledged to advance some $2 million for the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Authority. The support is expected to help enhance regulation in the region. Cletus Kambanda is the division manager for energy policy at ECOWAS.
The technical assistance to ERERA, the ECOWAS regional regulator, a $2 million project, which is about harmonization of regulatory frameworks and development of tools for regulation at regional level. So this project is really a very important one because it's, as I said at the opening, it's within the Africa single electricity market. And also within the project that at the level of African Union Commission, which is the regulatory harmonization of regulatory framework on the continent.
Kaletex Kambanda is the division manager for energy policy at the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Authority, giving us some update there. And Emefa, tonight on PM Express, we are talking about the state of the insurance sector post the domestic debt exchange program. What has happened to this sector after all these exercises that I've done? Has it impacted on the operations? At 9 p.m. on Joy News, as we engage the chief executive of the Ghana Insurance Association, Dr. Kingsley Kesikobason. 9 p.m. Let's hear what is going to happen. You could be paying more for motor insurance next year. Is that true? Well, details on PM Express tonight at 9 p.m.
on the Joy News channel. Thank you very much, George. Some of your messages, Comrade Isa Tamimu Mboko says, per this Supreme Court ruling, what will be the fate of those who bought their lands from the wrongful owner? Are they to start new negotiations of acquiring new land from the new rightful owners per the Supreme Court order? No, at least from what we're hearing, it is not for you to go and rebuy the land for atonement and to recognize the new owners amongst others. Now, if this cannabis law is permitted, Ghana as a nation is doomed. We are going to produce lunatic youth, if not already producing. This government is okay. And we have another message. I really disagree with them. We have too many holidays in this country. Papa Ansa from Latte Kwapim Evans, Papa Ansa is disagreeing about. We are not asking for more holidays. We are only saying if it is on a Tuesday or Wednesday, move it to Friday.
No, but there are more holidays if you consider the proposal for the Muslim brothers and sisters. Now it's instead of one.
But Christians are getting
two.
it. Why can't they get it too?
Well,
so yeah. Let's look at it. Now, Fuad from Mid-Year says, I believe the proposal by Francis Osu is a fantastic and welcome proposal which will enhance productivity and also promote religious diversity. And Courage from Kumasi says the legalization of cannabis for recreation is not a sin to Ghana. Our parliamentarians should consider and pass it. And a final one from Aigbeni Dogbeda also says this is a country which has made several projections on policies. Recent example is e-levy. Some of your messages that you have sent in. Let's turn our attention to energy now.
Let's do so because in Parliament today we've been hearing from the former Power Minister Dr. Kabna Donko, who is calling for an immediate investigation into the procurement processes surrounding the donation of 200 motorbikes by the Electricity Company of Ghana to the Ghana Police Service. The NDC MP says it's unable to fathom why a debt-ridden institution like the ECG will be seeking to take over responsibilities of the state.
It is high time that managements of state entities, especially commercial state entities, take responsibility for their commerciality. If Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority had done the donation, I would have had no qualms with it because they are profitable. But for a loss-making state entity that is throwing the future and security of this country into danger because of their indebtedness, to go donating 200 motorbikes is the height of irresponsibility. And I call on the ministers for energy and the minister for public enterprises to call the ECG management to book. They should call them and whip them into line. Indeed, this donation must be investigated. It is not in the national interest, and it will be surprising if it is not procurement driven. I am extremely disappointed as a former Minister of Power, as a member of the Mensah Energy Committee of Parliament, and representing the good people of Ghana in this house.
Well, you've been talking to people at ECG to get a sense of what they make of this. What have they told you?
Well, first, let me start from what the players in the energy sector have been saying. They say that ECG as a company owes GMPC more than $30 million. They owe VRA more than $30 million. Ghana Gas more than $50 million. Gridco more than $20 million. And the IPP is over $60 million. Now, we are learning that VRA now sells power to Togo and Benin to help them stay afloat. We understand this is the reason why we've been experiencing some power outages in some communities lately. Now, our sources say Ghana Gas, VRA, and Gridco, all of them being state-owned entities, cannot pay their vendors. And this is gradually crippling the operations of these companies. Now, we try to get a response from ECG as what they make of, all of this that has been happening. Now, ECG says that they stand by this decision to donate to the police. This is a social spend because the police help them in protecting their installations, in their revenue mobilization, and arresting people who do illegal connections. And this is the way of showing, saying thank you to them and for equipping them to keep on protecting us, the citizenry, and then the ECG as well. So, and they welcome all corruption investigations that people are calling for.
I just got off the phone with the senior management at ECG, and they make the point there's a direct link between what they've done and the revenues that Dr. Kamna Donko is talking about, and that it is only when the police go with them into the communities that they are able to collect what they are due. Then they can now also make payments to the IPPs, and this is to equip the police, help them across the country. Chase people, but get into communities and collect what they are due.
Yes, exactly.
And so they make a direct link between the collection of the revenues and the donation to the police, because if you equip the police then are in a position to give you more men to collect more money on the ground.
But the problem the companies also do have is that you owe us, you say that you cannot pay anything, and today a lot of them, we understand, are, especially the state-owned, are on the verge of, they are only doing hand to mouth. So if you're able to collect all of these monies to go and buy 1,000 motorbikes, well, we understand the total motorbikes are 1,000, then of course. So they also have issues that you say you cannot pay us.
If you listen to the ECG, if you really want the money, then we must collect. For us to collect, we need protection for our men who are on the ground doing that. And it's like the example of Ashaiman, for example, when they went in there at the time where they're doing the revenue mobilization, some of the men were chased. In some instances, they've been beaten. And it's only when you have the police with them that they can go into these communities where people really owe huge sums, that they can collect that money. Then they can pay the IPPs. And so there's a significant case there that they are also making.
There's a saying in the local language that yedinam in the yinam. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, maybe
this is 1.5 million. They are owing 50 million and above. Well, motorbikes, you can see even to IPP.
Well, so the thinking of these companies are that probably ECG has some money that they are not telling them.
Okay.
That they need to show that indeed they do not have money. But if you have, then give us some.
In fact, the ECG makes the point, this is actually part of their revenue mobilization drive. To make sure that they partner the police more in this leg. I remember that the CEO has said that they now are in a position where they can prosecute people too. But for that to happen, people must be arrested, etc. And investigation is done to establish that. So for them, that link is there, and that partnership is what they are trying to facilitate with the donation.
Maybe ECG has to be, clear to these companies, because when they give and it's not coming and it's affecting the operation, they will definitely.
We'll see how that goes. Thank you very much, Samuel Kojo Brace there. And let's do sports. Danny Cranting has the latest.
Yeah, straight into the stories. And former Black Stars forward Augustine Ahimfo believes Ghana is capable of delivering an impressive show in our next month's AFCON if certain important factors are met. Ghana have been drawn in Group B against Egypt, Cape Verde and Mozambique in the tournament that begins on the 13th of January next year. Head coach of the side, Chris Houghton, has had a rocky start to life as a Black Stars boss, suffering a shock defeat to Comoros last time out. But Ahimfo is adamant Ghana can impress if the team is given the right preparations.
Once again, it's up to the coach who is in charge of the team to select the best materials that we have available and put them together, because not only selecting the players but blending them together to have a good team is what we are looking at. It's a tournament, and in football everything is possible. We just have to prepare well. I think though the 20-something countries partaking in the tournament, everybody is coming there to win. And so we just have to prepare well. It's the AFCON. The group stages is different from the knockout stages. So the progression is what we have to look at. If we go and then we start well, I believe that the sky will definitely be the limit.
You had former Black Stars forward Augustine Ahimfo speaking there. Bring that into sports.
Thank you, Danny. Now, Evans, you ever left home wondering if you actually switched off your lights, your fan, or especially the iron?
There have been times I've locked up, driven out, and I'm not sure, so I drive back to be sure.
I'm told it's an OCD, but really there's a technology in place now to actually cure that. Students at Academic City University, they designed a remotely managed, system for homes electricity with a single tap. Caleb Ziblim has our Tech Thursday read to you.
When leaving home, that moment of doubt always hit. Did I turn off something? Is worse with electrical gadget like leaving the iron on. Then there's electricity bill anxiety. In Ghana, power outages are common. Academic City University students have a solution for this nail-biting situation right at your fingertips.
My name is Emanuela Udia. This project seems to enhance efficiency and convenience for our users with our app or our website. All you have to do is just with the tap of a button, your light comes on and your fan comes on. Same goes for turning it off as well, and it's that simple.
Emanuela and her friends first conceived the idea to assist their school security guards in remotely turning off lights and fans left on in the classrooms. The group aims to make their technology a solution to save energy and cut down on bills for everyone.
My team and I, we wanted to solve a problem, and the problem we identified was the fact that in the evenings, the security guys have to go around the school to see the lights that haven't been turned off or the fans or the air conditions that haven't been turned off. And we thought about how we could make life simpler for them.
This project is going to be a very good way to solve the energy crisis we're facing today. We want to see energy saved, especially electrical energy. As an electrical engineer myself, I want that to happen. So I'm happy that this project is going to make that happen, because we won't be wasting electricity when we leave our lights and fans and other electrical appliances on.
They have big plans of using this system to also improve security.
And we also have a motion sensor. The motion sensor detects when there's a presence in your house. So supposing that you went to your office or you traveled, you really do not expect anyone to be in your house. And so the system just tells you that your house is occupied by someone.
The group is hopeful in the near future they can submit this to the Ghana Standards Authority so they can commercialize this.
So the end goal of this invention is to commercialize it. This is just a prototype. However, we plan for our first implementation to be here at Academic City University. And going forward, we want to engage boards like the Ghana Standard Authority to approve it before it goes fully into the market.
Caleb Ziblem's report read to you.
And just before we head out, it's Dirty December. That's how they call it. The young ones are calling it Dirty December, right? So we are in the season, and we've been hearing from the Chief Executive of the Creative Arts Council, Jankruma Akufo-Addo, and for her, it's the hashtag #PlayGhana. Listen.
The Christmas season is upon us, a time where our creative hand-carved wooden masks, Adinkra symbol jewelry, oil painting of market scenes and Ghana sunsets. But Ghana music is left behind. This month's festivities, for Dirty December, we need our artists pushed to the forefront, to be prioritized, in the nightclubs and on the airways. Let that tourist sample not only the best jollof in the world, but the best artists too. So today, the CAA is backing the pledge of Play Ghana.
Ghana Emefa Apawu is doing the dance in the studio.
Waiting for 90s jam.
I can't wait to dance to this particular tune, by the way. And the favorite
the
part of
rap?
this for me is the rap. Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna be playing Ghana at the 90s jam, and we're gonna be announcing the date and everything else pretty soon. So you need to stay.
Just hold on. We'll get there. But we'll leave you with Odesi Simi. Okay?
Enjoy the rest of the evening.